Hi everybody, my name is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of Jazz Piano Fundamentals, Book 1 and 2 and 3. It's a secret. And then playing solo jazz piano. Everything's available at jeremysiskind.com. jeremysiskind.com. Okay, so when it comes to 32 bar standard tunes, there's basically two types in jazz. Of course, everything's more complicated than that, but really it's pretty darn close to that. There's your AABA forms, which I think are generally thought of as simpler because they basically repeat the same thing 3 times and have a little bridge, a little alternate section in the middle. And there's ABAC forms. I know it's a little bit alphabet soup. AABA is maybe simpler, and then ABAC is what we're going to talk about today, which is more complex. I want to show you the inner workings of an ABAC tune and then walk you through writing one together so that you can see how it works. I think it's actually not that bad. We'll see. So the tune that I've chosen is My Romance by Richard Rodgers. I think that's misspelled on the top. I'm not exactly sure whose chart this is. I found it on my iPad. If you've never heard this song, let me play it for you, and I guess I'll divide this page in half. And then we'll go through it in detail, okay? So here it is. Totally classic jazz standard. So if we're identifying the sections here, let's just start there. So we said it's called an A, B, A, and C tune. So 8 measures per section. You can see there we have A, B, A, C. Now, I've always hated this name, but never been able to think of a better one. And the reason that I hate this name is because usually in kind of formal theory, when we give something a letter name, it means that it is really over. And here, to me, the A section actually kind of bleeds in to the B section. Right? We don't have a really strong cadence. Instead, it's kind of keeps going. Same thing the second time, the A section kind of leads in to the C section. So when I started teaching, I actually called these not ABAC, but A prime. Meaning that basically there's 2 16-bar sections, A, and then A prime. And prime, when we talk about forms, that means a variation. So it means we have 2 sections that are almost the same or, kind of doing the same thing, but are a little bit different. And to me, that's a more accurate name, but it's not as useful when we're trying to compose as ABAC. So let's look at what each of these sections is doing. So the A section establishes the theme. And not in every ABAC tune, but in many ABAC tunes, we essentially have 4 bars in the tonic key. Here we're in the key of C. And then we sequence that, right? We play the same melody, but starting on a different pitch level in the next 4. So here we present the theme once in C major and then once in A minor. So a little 5 chord to tonicize the A minor. And Richard Rodgers was really smart because he kind of plans it so that he can land back on the 3rd of the tonic chord for standing by right there, so that we actually do get back to C. Okay, so that's the A. We state the theme, we sequence it. The B section is probably the most open-ended, and this is the place, if you're playing a standard and it goes to a strange, unusual key center, which, by the way, 95% of the time, what I mean by that is a key center a major or minor third away from the tonic. This is where it's going to happen. You might think of like the tune Long Ago and Far Away, or like Someone in Love is a good example of this. Long Ago and Far Away by Jerome Kern. And then it goes from F to A flat. Right? A third relationship. That's going to happen in the B section if it happens anywhere. Or let's see if I can figure out like Someone in Love. There we go, right? I started in C, just because, and I ended up here in this B section in A major. Okay, so that's the first big thing is that the B section is where you would go to an unusual key center. In My Romance, it does not go to an unusual key center, really. We do get this, mini 2-5 to the minor 3, but that's not really that big of a deal. That's a diatonic chord. What we do really get is a very different rhythmic presentation, right? Instead of all of these quarter notes, here we're kind of long, right? And it also changes the phrasing. So I would say that the phrases in the A section are 4-bar phrases, and you can hear it in the lyric. My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. All 4 bars. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by, right? The rhyme, the punctuation, all indicates these 4-bar sections. In the B section, it's these shorter 2-measure phrases. No month of May, no twinkling stars, no hideaway, no soft guitars, right? So we've changed the phrasing here, and this is one of the things when we talk about contrasting sections like A sections and B sections that's really important. And by the way, it's not just the lyric, the melody also repeats, starting on G, C, C, G. I'll erase this off so you can see it a little bit better. G, C, G, C, G, G, C, C, G, C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G, right? So you could hear that there's this constant restarting of the melody. Okay, now it is crucial here that we make our way to a big old 5 chord because we're going to be going back to the tonic. Now, of course, not all pieces start with the tonic, but the vast majority of them do. So we want a 5 of wherever we're going to start. By the way, this chart does it badly. Usually in the middle of an ABAC form, you will have a double bar line like this. I don't know why this chart doesn't have it. Again, not sure where I found this chart. It's also definitely, the more I look at it, the more I'm convinced there's a D in Rogers. Okay, so now we're through the halfway point, which means we're back to an A section. And the A section should look basically musically the same. You might change a little something at the end to go in a different direction, but in general, that A section is going to look the same. And notice too that here the lyric comes back to the first My Romance, which is the title of the song, right? We're right here. My Romance is just like the beginning. The formula is really parallel. My romance at the beginning, it's my romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. Halfway through, it's my romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain. So similar, right? The melody, the chords are exactly the same. As we go through, no difference, nor a dance to a constantly surprising refrain. Okay, and so the C section is a bit of a wild card. For me, it's definitely the most fun part to write. One thing that is not a wild card is that about right here, these are bars 28, 29. No. 26, 27 of the tune, whatever. 4 from the end. I can do math. 27, 28. That's going to be some sort of a climax. It's usually the highest note or very close to the highest note. Here we do, I think, get the highest note of the piece. And usually there's some kind of a tense harmony. Some good examples of tense harmony are something that borrows from the parallel minor. So we're in C major, so we might borrow some notes from C minor, and that's exactly how we get this chord. Right? It's got an A flat, which is natural to the key of C minor rather than to the key of C major. In this tune, the melody for the C section is very closely related to the melody of the A's, right? And then we start, wide awake, I can make my most fantastic. That is not necessarily always the case. You could have the melody be more related to the A section or the B section. But the important thing is that you're going to take that and then you're going to make it go up in, like literally in terms of direction, and then in tension through the harmony. Okay, and then we want to do something fun to wrap it up here. Oftentimes that means recalling the original melody. By original, I mean the melody of the A section. It might also mean coming back to the original lyric. Oftentimes this is the part where they do something clever and they make you see the lyric in a different way. So, in this tune, I don't know that it's that clever, but it's, my romance doesn't need this, it doesn't need that. And then at the end, it's my romance doesn't need a thing but you. And by the way, that is probably the most classic thing to do, is to have this kind of general song, about the concept of romance. And then at the end, be like, the song was actually about you the whole time. A very good lyrical trick. And you could see that it does come back to the original the original melody in the original key. Okay, so this is our basic formula, and I've prepared us a little cheat sheet here that we're going to write our tune. So again, I'll just review what we're doing here. The first 8 bars are the A section. We'll write a theme and then sequence it. The B is a contrast, especially we want different phrasing. We might go somewhere harmonically contrasting. Then I'm going to make my double lines at the midway point. Okay. So then we come back to the original theme. We do that same sequencing. We do some sort of a contrasting phrase, climax, or sometimes we call this the turn, when it goes in a different direction, and then a wrap up. All right. Hope you guys are enjoying this. This is my favorite part, where I actually get to write something. So let's see, I have not thought about any sort of a theme, but we're going to do it in the key of B flat. And we're going to go... That's an interesting one. Very different than my romance. I'm going to write it in a very kind of bland, rhythmic way without too much syncopation, and we can always add more syncopation later. Okay, so now I want to think about, I'm going to sequence this somewhere. So where am I going to sequence it? The G flat chord is pretty weird. So just for now, I think I'm going to bring this to C minor. And so I'm going to sequence it. So now I have 2 options. I could either, the first melody starts on the 7th. I could start on the 7th again, or I could start it somewhere else compared to the chord. Let's make a little fancy thing there. We're gonna do this kind of My Funny Valentine style gesture, and I'll change the melody to go with that. Boo, de, do, de, do. Oh, C minor 6. So let's make the ending a little bit different so that it leads us somewhere. Okay, this is probably sloppy at this point, but you know, this is a YouTube video. So I put in F minor to B flat 7 because the 4 chord is going to be a nice place to end up here. It's not the only possible place, but I'm already using the 2 chord in the sequence. Actually, you know what? What the heck? This is the spot, remember, where we could modulate somewhere interesting. So let's modulate somewhere interesting. Let's live a little. Okay, so we're going to go to A flat major. Or we could even go to D. Oh, let's go to D. YOLO, baby. Sometimes it's hard to believe that anybody's watching these videos and whatever it is that I'm saying. Okay, so just like my romance, I made the A sections have 4-bar phrases. That doesn't have to be the case, but that's what inspired me. So I'm gonna, like my romance, I'm gonna try to make these B section phrases just 2 bars so that we get a contrast. And remember, I need to aim for some sort of a F7, maybe a C minor F7 here. So we're in a pretty decent key, we're in D major, so we're gonna have to think about how are we gonna get back. I'm also going to aim for a slightly faster harmonic rhythm, right? At the beginning, it was very slow harmonic. So I'm going to go... What did I do here? I liked it. I can't remember it. No. Yeah, that's what it was. So, in terms of the harmony, I'm really thinking about destination points, right? I kind of was aiming for here and here. I ended up aiming for here. And then I'm generally putting some kind of a circle of fifths motion in front of those destination points. So that's why I'm doing this A minor 7 and D7 to G. G is the destination, and I'm adding the 2/5 in front of it. So I need to figure out how I'm going to get back to that C minor to F7. I like what I've got here. I'm going to make just a small variation on the melody, so it's not like exactly parallel. So that's a little crazy, but maybe it's, you know, crazy like a fox. So let's try it. basically we're going to go around the circle of fifths but diatonically, so that we're skipping from F to B instead of F to B flat, and that gets us all the way back to C minor F7. So different. I could keep sequencing the same idea, but I feel like it might be overkill. So I'm thinking about like something going up instead of this kind of hook shape that I'm doing. I like that. What did I do though? So the end, I think I've got. This tune is kind of rhythmically repetitive, so that might be something I'll look at as like adding in some pickups instead of everything start on the end of one. Adding a little crunch in there. Thank you if you're still watching. I hope you're enjoying this. Hope it's teaching you something and that you're getting inspired to write your own tune. F major 7, maybe B half diminished. This needs a flat 13. And what I like about what I ended up writing there is that F sharp to G is going to go right back to the A, right? F sharp, G, A at the top of the melody. So that might even be a fun chance to do something lyrically that would like connect between them as well. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste these top 16 bars into my two empty lines here. Just gonna clear them out so that there's not weirdness. All right, remember ABAC just basically means that the A section is gonna repeat pretty literally with different lyrics, certainly. I don't know why those bar lines look so weird, but that's pretty good. Just nudge it up just a little bit. All right. So let me play for you what we've got so far. We've got ABA now. Everything but the fun part. Okay, so I think this is a nice chance to definitely make it go somewhere different. You know, we went to D major. That's great for a B section, but for a C section, we're going to want to stay closer to the original chords, or to the original key center, I should say. So maybe... So I'm going to make it go to the relative minor, which will be, you know, a nice place that we haven't gone. So it's going to be G minor. I'll do A half diminished to D7 flat 9. let's see. So our B section theme was. Yeah, let's do that. That's kind of fun. So I'm going to start with the really original melody here. And I'm kind of fenced in because that G sharp really only wants to go to one place, and that's A. And you can see I made it go up at the end, right? Going to the climax. And now here come some notes from B flat minor rather than B flat major. Right? A flat, G flat, D flat. Those are from B flat minor. And I'm going to make the bass go down. That's another good tip for a climax. Because we want basically both things going out. We want the melody going up, the bass going down. Again, if you're watching, wow, thanks for sticking with me. Okay, so that's a really nice climax, I think. I think that's nice and strong. And now, I think what I'll do, one place we haven't started this melody would be on D, which is the third of our B flat chord. I'm going to make it B flat with F in the bass, G7, right? And so I'm playing that same theme instead of, now I'm going, great. And then if we, are jazz players and we're going to do a turnaround, that's what would happen in that last measure. Okay. So let's play this whole thing. I'm not sure I'm convinced about the chord progression in bars 3 and 4. I think it's a little bit bold, but I'll workshop it. We'll figure something out. So. It up. By the way, you always want to end on the tonic. I should say always, but one of those 95% of the time rules. One thing I didn't like here is that this E flat is kind of the note we're ending on in this climactic phrase, and we already gave it away in this measure. So I'm going to make that into a D natural instead of an E flat. Cool. This is a pretty highly chromatic, complex tune. This is a little bit more, jazzy probably than a standard tune with all the different places that it's going. One thing I could do to just make it a little bit less out there and crazy would be like replace that weird G flat chord with a 2/5 to C minor. And considering how much else is going on, I'm gonna pick my spots a little bit carefully in order to make that work. So let's see. to me, this G sharp is a little bit predictable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a G, A, and then this melody is going to be a little bit different, so I'm not starting on exactly the same notes. All right, now, let's get crazy. Bonus content for anybody still paying attention. Let's see if we can come up with a quick, dirty, mediocre lyric for this. Okay, so we're going to start each time you look my way. I'm sweating. Each time you glance at me, so notice I'm starting with the same words. Each time you glance at me, I choke. No, that's such a bad word. I can't breathe. And notice there's no rhyme in here. It's not ideal. Each time you look my way, I'm sweating. Each time you glance at me, I can't breathe. I'm gonna say, you make me so. I think it'd be nicer if we go to G minor here, because we're getting back into the territory of that key of B flat major. You make me so. This is not going to be a great scansion. I cannot focus. And I'll add the word dear. So we got a little rhyme between so and focus. You make me so. I cannot focus, dear. Each time you go, I wish you'd stay near. Okay, so we got a little rhyme between focus and dear. All right, these are the greatest lyrics I've written in under 3 minutes. Each time you look my way, I'm sweating. Each time you glance at me, I can't breathe. You make me so. I cannot focus, dear. Each time you go, I wish you'd stay near. I've heard worse. Let's see. I'm going to say, so this is a time to come back to the original kind of theme. Your very presence is distracting. If you would touch me, I really want to rhyme distracting with contract, like my heart's contracting, but it doesn't quite work yet. Each time you touch me, dear, my heart's contract. Each time if you would touch me, I'd be reacting. then I'm gonna have to change some things about the notes, right? There's a give and take between lyrics and notes. I'd start if you would touch me. Yeah, this doesn't exactly make sense, but it's a first draft. Start reacting. Each time you touch me, my heart. With you, my heart. If you would touch me, I would start reacting. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Let's see. I want my lyrical turn to, at the end, I want to say, I want you near. Okay, because the whole tune has been about how difficult it is to have the person near. It's not a great lyric. Keep you near. We'll rhyme that with here. And I'll just make this lyric, if only I could keep you near. What's the first? Each time you look my way. The first time is it's also each time. So maybe the other way we could do it is we could try to end with the words each time, right? We could try to end with what we started. Let's do that, because then it'll be interesting. It'll be, I fall in love with you each time. So what rhymes with time? Climb, chime. It could be something about it's distracting, like the chime of a clock. It's not very good to end a phrase with. Mime. I'm silent as a mime. Grime, not great. Dime. All right, let's do something. I'll stop on a dime. Again, first draft, baby. And if you kissed me, my heart would stop on a. My heart would stop on a dime. I fall in love with you each time. Again, first draft, be kind. It's not perfect. Maybe somebody in the comments will get really inspired and fix these lyrics. So here we go. I just want to show you like the form of the lyrics. The content is garbage, guys. But the form, I think, is actually kind of semi-strong. So, and by the way, if you've been watching this channel, you know I cannot sing. So I'm going to like speak them here. Each time you look my way, I'm sweating. Each time you glance at me, I can't breathe. You make me so, I cannot focus, dear. Each time you go, I wish you'd stay near. Your very presence is distracting. If you would touch me, I would start reacting. And if you kissed me, why my heart would no, one more time. And if you kissed me, my heart would stop on a dime. I fall in love with you each time. I'd fall in love. I like that ending. I'd fall in love with you each time. That's kind of fun. All right, and at this point, it's just for me. It's me and like my mom's watching. So, you know, if we're going to highlight this each time, I'd want to come back to that. I think that's going to be like the title of the tune because we're like really highlighting it. So instead of this presence is distracting, I'm going to come back to each time, and then I'm going to say, I think of you. Each time I think of you, I stutter. You can tell I just am entertained. And then stutter could so beautifully rhyme with a flutter. So we're gonna put in a flutter here. Each time you say my name, my heart's a flutter. So now I want you to hear how this end hits differently now that we've kept this theme, this title of each time. So from the second half, each time I think of you, I stutter. Each time you say my name, my heart's a flutter. And if you kiss me, dear, and if you kiss me, dear, and if you kiss me, my heart would stop on a dime. I'd fall in love with you each time. And I hate the way this last part scans. And if you kiss me, dear, my heart would stop on a dime. Heart would stop. And since we're talking about stopping, it would be pretty cool to have like a stop in the rhythm section right on beat 1. Let's put that triplet beaming above. So I'm going to make these triplets would stop on a dime. And then this is going to be like short. So it's going to be, and if you'd kiss me, dear, my heart would stop on a dime. I'd fall in love with you each time. All right, folks, I'm going to stop messing with this. But if you made it this far, comment with the title of the tune in the comments. I told you what the title of the tune is. And I hope that you guys go and write your own ABAC-Forms tunes with or without lyrics, and that you really enjoy it. Thanks for watching, everybody.